Beneath the searing sun of southern Peru lies a barren desert plain, seemingly unremarkable at first glance. But take to the skies, and an astonishing sight unfolds. Sprawling geometric shapes, intricate animal figures, and lines that stretch endlessly across the landscape. These are the Nazca Lines, one of the most confounding mysteries of the ancient world. How did a civilization over 2,000 years ago create such massive, precise designs without modern tools, or the ability to view them from above? And more intriguingly, why? Were they offerings to the gods, markers of celestial events, or something even more extraordinary? Today, we'll unravel the fascinating theories behind these colossal drawings and ask the question that continues to baffle historians. Were they truly created for the divine, or do they hold a purpose we've yet to fully comprehend? Let's delve into the enigma of the Nazca Lines and uncover the secrets etched into this desolate earth. The Nazca Lines are one of humanity's most puzzling creations. Spread across nearly 300 square miles of the arid Peruvian desert, these massive geoglyphs created by removing the dark, oxidized stones that cover the desert surface to reveal the lighter soil underneath form an astonishing array of designs. Among these are depictions of animals like the hummingbird, spider, and monkey, each stretching hundreds of feet across. There are also vast geometric shapes, including trapezoids, spirals, and straight lines that extend for miles, so precise they appear ruler straight even from above. Some of the geoglyphs are simple, while others are breathtakingly intricate, requiring an extraordinary level of planning and coordination to execute. To fully appreciate their scale, it's important to recognize that these designs are almost impossible to grasp from ground level. The Nazca Desert itself is one of the driest places on Earth, with an unchanging landscape where these designs have withstood the test of time for over 2,000 years. Yet for centuries, the lines went unnoticed by the outside world. It wasn't until the 1930s, during the age of aviation, that the modern world took note of their existence. As pilots flew over the region, they were stunned to see the desert floor transformed into a canvas of sprawling patterns and figures, visible only from the sky. Imagine their astonishment. Here were shapes so massive and intricate that they seemed to defy explanation, created by people who had no way of viewing their work from above. For the first time, these ancient artworks were brought into sharp focus, sparking an enduring fascination that remains alive to this day. The sheer magnitude and complexity of the Nazca Lines are enough to boggle the mind. Some of the lines measure over 12 miles long, while the animal figures can span hundreds of feet, with details so precise they rival modern engineering feats. The ability to achieve such symmetry and alignment, especially without modern tools, has left historians, archaeologists, and mystery enthusiasts alike grappling for answers. How were the creators able to conceptualize and execute these massive drawings? Did they use basic tools like ropes and stakes to calculate distances and angles? Or might they have had access to some lost form of knowledge or undiscovered technique? And then there's the most tantalizing question of all. Why? Why would a culture expend so much effort to create something they couldn't even fully see? Over the decades, a wide range of theories has emerged, each offering a unique interpretation of the purpose behind the lines. Some suggest they were created as offerings to appease or communicate with the gods. Others believe the shapes might have served as celestial maps, aligning with constellations or marking the solstices. There are interpretations rooted in more practical uses, such as water rituals or navigation aids. And of course, there are the more fantastical ideas, speculations that the lines were created with help from extraterrestrial visitors, designed as signals or landing strips for otherworldly beings. What makes the Nazca Line so captivating is that no single theory has been definitively proven. Instead, this mysterious desert artwork continues to invite exploration and debate, teasing us with the possibility that we've only just begun to scratch the surface of its secrets. As we dive deeper into this riddle, let's take a closer look at some of the most compelling interpretations, starting with the idea that these geoglyphs were created to honor and connect with the divine. What might the ancients have been trying to say to the gods above? To truly understand the purpose of the Nazca Lines, we must first delve into the people who created them, the Nazca civilization. Flourishing between roughly 500 BC and 500 CE, the Nazca people inhabited the arid valleys of southern Peru, a region where survival required extraordinary ingenuity. This was no lush paradise, it was one of the driest places on Earth, with almost no rainfall and a punishing desert landscape. Yet, the Nazca found ways to thrive, transforming this harsh environment into a hub of agriculture, art, and spirituality. One of the most striking achievements of the Nazca civilization was their advanced understanding of irrigation. To combat the lack of surface water, they engineered a sophisticated network of underground aqueducts, known as puquios, which carried water from underground sources to their fields. These aqueducts, many of which are still functional today, allowed the Nazca to grow crops like maize, beans, and potatoes, sustaining a flourishing society in an otherwise barren landscape. Their ability to harness water so effectively speaks to a deep knowledge of their environment and a resourcefulness that was vital to their survival. But the Nazca weren't just practical engineers, they were also deeply spiritual people. Their connection to the natural world went far beyond simple survival. They viewed the land, the sky, and the elements as sacred, believing that nature was animated by powerful deities who governed everything from rainfall to fertility. The Nazca's rituals and ceremonies often centered around honoring these forces, seeking to ensure balance and harmony in their lives. This spiritual connection to nature and the cosmos likely played a crucial role in the creation of the Nazca Lines. For a culture so attuned to their environment, the desert itself may have been seen as a sacred space, a blank canvas where they could communicate with their gods. The lines could have served as a sort of divine dialogue, sending messages to deities residing in the heavens. It's no coincidence that many of the geoglyphs represent animals and plants, which were not only central to the Nazca's daily lives but also held symbolic meaning in their mythology. The monkey, for instance, could have represented fertility, while the hummingbird might have symbolized a connection to the sky. The Nazca also had a strong interest in the cosmos, as seen in their ceramics and textiles, which often featured celestial motifs. It's possible that they viewed the stars as a map of divine guidance, and the lines could have mirrored their observations of the heavens. This blending of the celestial and the terrestrial, of the sacred and the practical, is a hallmark of Nazca culture and provides a framework for understanding the geoglyphs. Were the lines meant to map the stars, mark the changing seasons, or align with celestial events? Or were they paths for ceremonial processions, designed to be walked as part of intricate rituals that connected the people to their gods? By exploring the Nazca civilization's ability to flourish in an unforgiving landscape and their deeply spiritual worldview, we begin to see the lines not just as mysterious artworks, but as the legacy of a culture that sought to bridge the gap between the earth and the heavens. Understanding this cultural backdrop sets the stage for diving even deeper into the possible meanings of these geoglyphs. Could they have been tools for survival as well as symbols of faith? Were they messages to the gods, or perhaps even invitations for divine intervention? Let's explore how this fascinating interplay between the practical and the spiritual might hold the key to their purpose. The creation of the Nazca Lines is a feat so extraordinary that it almost defies belief. How could an ancient civilization, armed with nothing but rudimentary tools, craft such massive and precise designs that can only truly be appreciated from the air? To understand this, we need to examine the techniques the Nazca people likely used, methods that, while simple in concept, required astonishing skill, coordination, and ingenuity. The process began with a clever manipulation of the landscape itself. The Nazca Desert is covered by a layer of dark, reddish-brown stones weathered by centuries of exposure. Beneath this layer lies a much lighter, almost white soil. By removing the surface stones and exposing the contrasting soil underneath, the Nazca created designs that stood out vividly against the desert backdrop. The lack of wind and rain in the region helped preserve these lines for centuries. But while this explains how the lines were physically made, it barely scratches the surface of how they achieved such incredible precision. One likely tool in their arsenal was a simple combination of stakes and ropes. Imagine standing on a flat, barren plain with no aerial view, tasked with creating a straight line that stretches for miles. The solution: anchor a series of stakes into the ground, connect them with ropes, and carefully clear the stones along the path they outline. This method would have allowed the Nazca to construct straight, continuous lines with remarkable accuracy. For creating curves or intricate animal shapes, they may have used a similar method, plotting points with stakes to create a basic framework and then connecting the dots with cleared lines. It's essentially an ancient version of the grid system used by modern artists, but even with these tools, the sheer scale of the designs remains mind-boggling. Some of the animal figures, like the hummingbird or the monkey, stretch over hundreds of feet, so large that the creators would have been unable to view their work in its entirety from ground level. How, then, did they ensure the proportions of these massive figures were correct? One theory suggests they may have drawn smaller, scaled-down versions of the designs on pottery or textiles art forms at which the Nazca excelled, and then mathematically scaled them up using a grid system on the ground. This process would have required not only technical knowledge but also meticulous teamwork to execute. And then there's the question of how they maintained such accuracy over vast distances. Some lines extend more than 12 miles, remaining perfectly straight the entire way. How could they possibly do this without modern surveying tools or aerial assistance? One idea is that they used landmarks in the distance, natural features like hills or mountains, to orient and guide their work. Others speculate that alignment with celestial bodies may have played a role, suggesting that the Nazca observed the movement of the sun, moon, or stars to help chart their path. Yet, even with these plausible explanations, the precision and scale of the Nazca lines continue to astonish. Were these methods really enough to achieve such perfection? Or is there something more at play? Some believe these ancient people might have developed advanced knowledge of geometry and astronomy, far beyond what we typically associate with their time. Others entertain the idea of divine or even extraterrestrial intervention, proposing that the lines were created with guidance from higher powers or for them. The debate remains open, and perhaps that's part of the enduring allure of the Nazca lines. The more we think we understand about their creation, the more questions seem to arise. Were these lines truly the product of human ingenuity, or do they represent something we've yet to uncover? As we ponder these possibilities, let's shift our focus to another layer of this mystery. What purpose could these monumental designs have served? Were they practical, spiritual, or something else entirely? The answer might lie in the very shapes and patterns the Nazca chose to etch into the desert floor. One of the most compelling theories about the Nazca lines is that they were created as a kind of celestial calendar or observatory, designed to track the movements of the sun, moon, and stars. This idea, championed by German mathematician and archaeologist Maria Reich, suggests that the lines were not merely artistic expressions or ritualistic markers, but sophisticated tools for understanding and navigating the cosmos. Wright dedicated her life to studying the Nazca Lines and believed that these ancient geoglyphs were deeply connected to astronomy, acting as a giant map to track celestial events. The Nazca civilization lived in a world where the sky played a central role in daily life and survival. For an agricultural society like theirs, the timing of the seasons was crucial, dictating when to plant and harvest crops. By observing the positions of the stars or the path of the sun, they could predict seasonal changes with remarkable accuracy. Wright noted that some of the straight lines seemed to align with solar events, such as the summer and winter solstices. For example, certain lines point directly at the horizon where the sun rises or sets on these significant days. This alignment may suggest that the Nazca used these lines as a way to mark time, effectively creating a calendar in the desert to guide their agricultural cycles. Other geoglyphs appear to mirror constellations or celestial phenomena visible in the night sky. The hummingbird, for instance, might correlate with a particular star or star cluster, while some of the geometric shapes could represent paths of celestial bodies. The symmetry and precision of these designs lend weight to the idea that they were far more than decorative, they were functional, possibly serving as a way for the Nazca to understand and engage with the heavens above. The desert could have been their observatory, a vast open space where they could map and interact with the cosmos in ways that were both practical and spiritual. But why would the Nazca go to such extraordinary lengths to create these designs, when simpler methods of tracking time might have sufficed? This is where the spiritual aspect of the theory comes into play. Many ancient cultures believed that the heavens were inhabited by gods or spirits who controlled the forces of nature. The Nazca may have seen the sky as a sacred realm, and these lines could have been offerings or messages to celestial deities, asking for their favor or guidance. To them, the act of creating these massive geoglyphs might have been a form of worship, a way to connect with the divine forces of the universe. However, not all experts are convinced by the astronomical alignment theory. Critics point out that while some lines do align with celestial events, others do not, suggesting that the connections to astronomy might be coincidental rather than deliberate. Additionally, the vast number of lines and shapes makes it difficult to draw consistent conclusions about their purpose. Some researchers argue that the geometric shapes, animal figures, and straight lines could have served multiple functions, blending practical, spiritual, and astronomical purposes rather than fitting neatly into one explanation. Still, the idea that the Nazca Lines were used as a tool to map the skies continues to capture imaginations. After all, the Nazca civilization clearly had a deep understanding of their environment and the ability to execute complex projects with precision. Could these lines have been their way of bridging the gap between Earth and the heavens, ensuring cosmic harmony by aligning themselves with celestial forces? Or are we projecting modern interpretations onto something far more nuanced and multifaceted? As we explore other theories about the purpose of these enigmatic designs, the connection between the Nazca people and the skies remains one of the most fascinating possibilities. Another compelling theory about the purpose of the Nazca Lines points to their religious and ceremonial significance, suggesting they were created as offerings to the gods or as integral parts of sacred rituals. To the Nazca people, the harsh desert was not just a place to survive but a sacred canvas upon which they could communicate with divine forces. These forces, they believed, controlled the very elements of life, water, fertility, and the cycles of nature resources that were both scarce and vital in this unforgiving landscape. The lines may have served as messages, pathways, or even gifts to these deities, a way of asking for blessings or ensuring harmony between themselves and the natural world. The animal figures, in particular, appear to strengthen this idea. Many of them are tied to water and fertility, symbols of life in a desert that receives almost no rainfall. Take the hummingbird, for example. Hummingbirds are often seen near flowers and water sources, and in Nazca mythology, they may have been associated with rain or the arrival of life-sustaining resources. Similarly, the monkey, with its curling tail, is thought to represent fertility, while the spider could symbolize water because certain spider species emerge during periods of rain. By creating these massive animal geoglyphs, the Nazca may have been invoking the favor of specific deities connected to these symbols, hoping to secure much-needed rain for their crops or abundant harvests. But these lines weren't just meant to be admired from above. They may also have been walked upon as part of ceremonial pilgrimages or sacred rituals. Imagine a group of Nazca people dressed in ceremonial attire walking carefully along the darkened paths, their footprints tracing sacred shapes in the sand. To us, these designs are monumental works of art, but for the Nazca, they might have been seen as pathways of prayer. Walking these lines could have been a profound act of devotion, a way of physically connecting themselves to the sacred patterns and their divine meanings. It's possible that each step was accompanied by chants, offerings, or other ritualistic acts, creating a moving ceremony meant to bridge the gap between the human and divine realms. This idea of walking as a spiritual act isn't unique to the Nazca. Across cultures and throughout history, we see examples of pilgrimage routes or sacred pathways traveled by believers as symbols of faith and devotion. From the Camino de Santiago in Spain to the labyrinths of medieval Europe, walking a specific path has often been viewed as a way to purify the soul, connect with the divine, or seek blessings. The Nazca Lines might have served a similar purpose, footsteps of devotion etched into the desert, intended to carry prayers directly to the gods. The fact that the lines themselves were visible only from the sky also raises a fascinating possibility. Were they meant to be seen by deities looking down from above? Could the Nazca have believed that their gods resided in the heavens, making these massive designs a way to communicate with them visually as well as spiritually? Interestingly, some researchers point out that the geometric shapes, trapezoids, zigzags, and spirals, could also have played a role in these rituals. These shapes might have been used as gathering spaces for ceremonies or processions, with participants walking their edges or congregating in their centers. The straight lines, which stretch for miles, could have served as symbolic connections between significant points in the landscape, almost like spiritual highways linking sacred sites. Perhaps certain areas were considered especially holy, and the lines guided participants on how to navigate this spiritual geography during their rituals. This interpretation of the Nazca Lines as pathways of faith adds a deeply human dimension to their mystery. It suggests that these vast designs weren't simply artistic or practical, but were deeply tied to the hopes, fears, and beliefs of the Nazca people. Were these lines the footprints of devotion created to honor the gods and ensure the survival of the community? Or were they part of a larger ceremonial practice that we've yet to fully understand? As we continue exploring the possible meanings behind these enigmatic designs, one thing becomes clear. To the Nazca, the desert was not an empty expanse but a sacred space alive with spiritual meaning. Water, the very essence of life, was a vital but scarce resource for the Nazca civilization. Living in one of the driest regions on Earth, they built their entire society around the challenge of finding, managing, and preserving water. This struggle for survival may hold the key to another theory about the purpose of the Nazca Lines, that these geoglyphs were closely tied to water, but not just as practical tools. Perhaps they were also a way for the Nazca to honor and connect with the forces of nature that governed their access to this life-sustaining resource. Some researchers believe that the lines and shapes etched into the desert floor were created as markers for underground water sources such as aquifers. It's no coincidence that many of the lines intersect or align with areas known to have subterranean water reserves. The Nazca were extraordinary engineers, as seen in their sophisticated puquios, or underground aqueduct systems, which were designed to tap into these hidden water sources and transport the precious liquid to their fields and settlements. These aqueducts stand as a testament to the Nazca's ingenuity, a network of spiraling tunnels and reservoirs, many of which are still functional today. So, could the lines have functioned as a kind of map, guiding the Nazca to these hidden aquifers or showing where water could be accessed? It's a possibility. The geometric shapes especially may have played a role in this theory. For example, trapezoids might have indicated areas where water flowed beneath the surface, while long, straight lines could have pointed toward sources further away. In a landscape with no GPS, roads, or landmarks, these massive designs could have served as navigational aids, ensuring that essential sources of water were never forgotten. But this theory takes on an even deeper meaning when we consider the spiritual beliefs of the Nazca. To them, water wasn't simply a resource, it was a divine gift, a force of nature that could mean the difference between life and death. The creation of the Nazca Lines may have been as much a spiritual act as a practical one. By carving these massive designs into the earth, the Nazca could have been making offerings to the deities they believed controlled the rain, rivers, and underground streams. The animal figures, such as the monkey or the hummingbird, could have doubled as symbols of fertility and life, meant to appeal to the gods for plentiful water. Some experts even suggest that rituals performed on or near the lines may have been an integral part of the process. Imagine the Nazca gathering at these sacred sites, offering prayers, gifts, or sacrifices in hopes of ensuring the continued flow of water. The very act of creating the lines, carefully removing stones, aligning shapes, and maintaining such precision, might have been seen as a form of devotion, a physical demonstration of reverence for the life-giving forces they depended on. What's particularly fascinating is how this theory blends the practical with the spiritual, just as much of Nazca life seemed to do. Their aqueduct systems weren't just feats of engineering, they were likely seen as gifts from the gods or as sacred tools that connected the human and divine world. Similarly, the lines could have served both as a pragmatic guide to water and as a profound symbol of the Nazca's dependence on and respect for nature. This raises an intriguing question. Were the gods the Nazca sought to appease truly supernatural beings, or could they have been the very forces of nature themselves, water, earth, and sky? Perhaps the Nazca weren't just praying to unseen entities, but were honoring the natural rhythms and cycles of their environment, hoping to maintain balance and harmony in a fragile landscape. This duality, the blending of the practical and the sacred, the earthly and the divine, is what makes the Nazca Lines so captivating and elusive. As we explore their purpose, one thing becomes clear: for the Nazca, survival and spirituality were deeply intertwined. Could it be that the lines themselves were a testament to this connection, a lasting expression of their reverence for the forces that sustained them? Among the many theories surrounding the Nazca Lines, few are as provocative or as hotly debated as the idea of extraterrestrial involvement. Popularized by authors like Erich von Däniken in his book Chariots of the Gods, this theory suggests that the Nazca Lines were either created by alien visitors or made for them as a form of communication. Von Däniken and other proponents argue that some of the designs, especially the long, straight lines, resemble landing strips for spacecraft, while the intricate animal figures and geometric shapes could be seen as messages or symbols meant to attract attention from above. It's a concept that has captivated imaginations for decades, blending ancient mystery with the allure of the unknown. At first glance, it's easy to see why this theory has gained such a following. The sheer size and precision of the Nazca Lines are astounding, even by modern standards, leaving many people to wonder how an ancient civilization with no access to aerial technology could have planned and executed such elaborate designs. The lines stretch across miles of desert with perfectly straight lines and symmetrical shapes that are best appreciated from the sky. To some, this aerial perspective suggests that the creators either had the ability to see their work from above something that would have required technology far beyond what we believe they possessed, or that they were working under the guidance of beings with advanced knowledge, possibly of extraterrestrial origin. Proponents of the alien theory point to a few key features of the Nazca Desert. The long, straight lines, which run uninterrupted for miles, bear a vague resemblance to modern runways, leading some to speculate that they might have been used as landing sites for alien spacecraft. Others claim that the shapes such as the monkey, hummingbird, and spider could have served as signals or forms of communication aimed at visitors from the stars. The geometric patterns, with their repetitive, almost mathematical precision, add another layer of intrigue, fueling the idea that the Nazca might have been trying to convey complex messages to beings capable of deciphering them. However, as fascinating as this theory is, it's important to note that there's no concrete evidence to support it. Archaeologists and historians have consistently argued that the Nazca Lines can be explained without invoking extraterrestrial intervention. The methods the Nazca likely used, stakes, ropes, and grids, are simple yet effective and well within the technical capabilities of an ancient civilization. Furthermore, the idea that the lines were landing strips doesn't hold up under scrutiny. The desert terrain is uneven and unsuitable for any kind of landing, and there's no indication that the Nazca ever had contact with beings from beyond our planet. In fact, the shapes and patterns of the lines can all be traced back to the culture's spiritual beliefs, practical needs, and connection to their environment, as we've explored in earlier theories. So why does the extraterrestrial explanation remain so popular? Part of the appeal lies in its mystery. The notion of alien visitors offers a tantalizing what-if scenario, blending the unknown with a sense of otherworldly wonder. It also challenges our understanding of ancient civilizations, inviting us to rethink the limits of what humans could achieve in the past. For some, it's easier to believe that an advanced intelligence helped create something so vast and precise than to accept that ancient humans, without modern tools, could have accomplished the same feat on their own. The idea of the Nazca Lines as messages to or from the stars taps into our innate curiosity about the universe and our place within it, offering a narrative that is as thrilling as it is unprovable. While the alien theory is fun to entertain, it ultimately diverts attention from the incredible ingenuity of the Nazca people themselves. The true story behind the lines, rooted in their culture, spirituality, and resourcefulness, is a testament to human creativity and determination. Still, the extraterrestrial explanation keeps the mystery alive, reminding us that the Nazca Lines, whether the work of ancient hands or something more fantastical, continue to challenge our understanding of history. Perhaps the real significance of this theory lies in the way it pushes us to imagine possibilities beyond what we know, encouraging us to keep looking, questioning, and wondering. After all, the mystery of the Nazca Lines wouldn't be nearly as enchanting without the questions that continue to swirl around their creation. Could the extraordinary designs be purely human in origin, or do they hint at something far greater than we can currently comprehend? One of the most intriguing aspects of the Nazca Lines is their visibility, or rather the lack of it from ground level. These breathtaking designs, which stretch across the desert floor, make little sense when viewed up close. Standing among the lines, all you might notice are pathways of cleared stone stretching into the horizon. But take to the skies and an entirely different perspective emerges. Sprawling animals, perfectly drawn geometric patterns, and endless straight lines, all revealed in their full glory. The question that has puzzled researchers and enthusiasts alike is this: why would the Nazca create such massive and intricate designs if they couldn't experience them from the one perspective that truly shows their beauty from above? This unique feature of the lines has led to countless speculations, with many suggesting that they were meant to be seen by beings who could view them from the sky. To the Nazca, this could have been the gods residing in the heavens, watching over the earth below. It's easy to imagine the lines as giant offerings or messages, created not for human eyes but for divine beings who could look down from their celestial vantage point and see the Nazca's devotion etched into the earth itself. This theory aligns with the spiritual practices of the Nazca, who believed in powerful deities controlling natural forces like water and fertility. Perhaps the lines were their way of saying, "Look, we honor you, we are here, and so is our need." Then there's the more speculative and controversial idea that the lines were created with extraterrestrial audiences in mind. As we touched on earlier, some believe that these massive designs might have been signals or landing markers for alien visitors. The fact that the lines only reveal their full intricacy when viewed from above fuels this theory, suggesting that advanced beings from another world, equipped with flight technology, could have been the intended recipients of these extraordinary visuals. While this notion has captured popular imagination, it's worth noting that there's no hard evidence supporting it, and it remains firmly in the realm of speculation. But before leaping to conclusions of divine or otherworldly intervention, it's important to explore more grounded explanations. How could the Nazca people, without modern technology, have created designs that work so beautifully on such a massive scale? And how could they have done so without needing to see the designs from above during their creation? It turns out that the Nazca may not have needed flight to achieve this visual mastery. By using simple yet ingenious methods, they could have planned and executed these vast images entirely from the ground. One plausible technique involves mapping out smaller, scaled-down versions of the designs, much like modern artists use sketches before working on a large canvas. The Nazca could have drawn smaller versions of the animals or shapes they wanted to create on ceramics or textiles. From there, they could scale the designs up by laying out an invisible grid on the desert floor, using stakes and ropes to plot each section of the pattern. By painstakingly expanding the small design into a life-sized version, they could maintain symmetry and proportions without ever needing to see the entire design completed. Additionally, the straight lines, some spanning miles, could have been created by aligning stakes across long distances and using ropes to ensure precision. The Nazca demonstrated exceptional skill in engineering, as seen in their aqueduct systems, so such techniques would have been well within their capability. There's also evidence to suggest lookout points on nearby hills that would have given the creators a partial elevated view, allowing them to check alignment and progress during construction. Still, the fact remains that these designs are breathtakingly intricate when seen from above, which begs the question: did the Nazca people fully understand how different their work would look from the sky? Or was that an unintended consequence, a perspective they never anticipated? Whether their purpose was rooted in spirituality, practicality, or ceremonial rituals, this puzzling element of visibility continues to fascinate. It challenges us to think about how the intended audience, whether it was the gods above, future generations, or even the creators themselves, shaped the line's purpose. This unique perspective from above raises a deeper question. If the Nazca people didn't need to see their designs from the sky, could the act of creation itself have been the focus? Could the planning, walking, and carving of these massive geoglyphs have been part of their spiritual practice or ritual, rather than the completed visual outcome? After all, it's the process and the meaning behind it that often holds more significance than the final product. let's explore how this possibility ties into the broader theories about why these ancient masterpieces were created. In recent years, advancements in technology have breathed new life into the study of the Nazca Lines, unlocking secrets that were once hidden beneath the sands of time. For decades, researchers relied on airplanes and ground-level exploration to study these enigmatic designs, but now tools like drones, satellite imagery, and ground-penetrating radar are transforming our understanding of this ancient marvel. These modern techniques haven't just helped scientists better document the lines, they've also led to the discovery of entirely new geoglyphs and provided fresh insight into their creation and purpose. One of the most exciting breakthroughs came with the use of drones. Equipped with high-resolution cameras, drones can fly low over the desert and capture details that might be missed from higher altitudes. This has allowed researchers to map the geoglyphs with unprecedented precision, creating detailed three-dimensional models of the designs. Drones have also proven instrumental in uncovering previously unknown lines and figures. In 2018, for example, a team from Japan's Yamagata University announced the discovery of over 100 new geoglyphs, some depicting human-like figures, birds, and other animals. These newly found designs are often smaller and more faded than the famous giant figures, which may explain why they went unnoticed for so long. It's a reminder that the desert still holds secrets, waiting to be revealed through the lens of modern technology. Satellite imagery has further expanded the scope of research, offering a bird's-eye view of the entire Nazca region. By analyzing satellite data, researchers can identify patterns and alignments that stretch across vast distances, something that would have been nearly impossible to detect from the ground. This has led to new theories about how the lines might connect to one another or to the surrounding landscape. Some researchers suggest that the geoglyphs may have been part of a larger network, linking sacred sites or points of interest across the desert. Others point to alignments between the lines and archaeological features like ancient settlements or ceremonial platforms, suggesting that the lines may have had multiple functions: practical, ceremonial, and perhaps even astronomical. Ground-penetrating radar has also been a game-changer in the study of the Nazca Lines. By sending electromagnetic signals into the ground and analyzing the reflected waves, scientists can examine the layers beneath the surface without disturbing the fragile desert soil. This technique has helped confirm how the lines were made, showing that the top layer of oxidized stones was carefully removed to expose the lighter soil underneath. It has also revealed clues about the tools and methods the Nazca people used, adding depth to our understanding of the technical skill involved in their creation. Interestingly, these technological advancements have not only shed light on how the lines were made, but have also deepened the mystery of why they were created. For example, some of the newly discovered geoglyphs have styles and forms that differ from the larger, more familiar figures, leading researchers to speculate that they may belong to different time periods or serve distinct purposes. Are these smaller figures evidence of an earlier phase of geoglyph creation, or could they represent a different form of ritual or communication altogether? These findings complicate the narrative, suggesting that the Nazca's use of geoglyphs may have evolved over time, reflecting changing religious, social, or environmental needs. Quotes from modern researchers highlight the significance of these discoveries. Dr. Masato Sakai, an archaeologist from Yamagata University, remarked that every new geoglyph we uncover gives us another piece of the puzzle, but it also raises new questions about the Nazca people and their relationship to the land. Similarly, archaeologist Johnny Eiler, who has dedicated decades to studying the lines, noted that the combination of modern technology and traditional fieldwork is helping us preserve this cultural treasure while also expanding our understanding of its purpose. So, what do these discoveries tell us about the origins of the lines? Do they point to earthly ingenuity or divine inspiration? The truth likely lies somewhere in between. The sophisticated engineering and artistic vision required to create the lines speak to the remarkable capabilities of the Nazca people. Yet, their careful alignment with natural and celestial features suggests that the lines were deeply tied to their spiritual beliefs, perhaps as offerings or messages to the gods they worship. Modern technology may never fully answer whether the lines were meant for divine eyes, earthly visitors, or the Nazca themselves, but it's clear that the more we uncover, the more this ancient mystery continues to astound us. The Nazca Lines have transcended their origins in the Peruvian desert to become icons of ancient mysteries throughout popular culture. From captivating documentaries to thrilling works of fiction, these enigmatic geoglyphs have captured the public's imagination, solidifying their place in the broader conversation about humanity's connection to the past and possibly even the cosmos. Their enduring mystique isn't solely rooted in archaeology or history. Much of their widespread appeal comes from how they're portrayed in books, movies, TV shows, and even games, often as symbols of something far greater than the mere marks of an ancient civilization. Perhaps the most high-profile way the Nazca Lines have entered the cultural consciousness is through their depiction in science fiction. Works like Erich von Däniken's Chariots of the Gods, published in the 1960s, introduced the controversial idea that the lines were created with the help of extraterrestrial beings. Von Däniken's hypotheses suggested that the monumental scale and precision of the geoglyphs were evidence of alien intervention, presenting the lines as potential landing strips or messages directed at beings from outer space. While mainstream archaeologists have debunked these claims as speculative at best, the concept was undeniably alluring. It captured the imagination of a generation and established the Nazca Lines as a symbol of the unknown, a connection between Earth and the possibility of life beyond our planet. This theme has since been echoed in countless forms of media. In popular TV series like The X-Files and Ancient Aliens the Nazca Lines are repeatedly linked to extraterrestrial theories, tailoring their mystery to fit thrilling narratives about humanity's potential to connect with otherworldly intelligence. These portrayals often lean into the more fantastical aspects of their origin, presenting the lines not just as historical artifacts but as puzzles left behind by highly advanced beings. For audiences, this transforms the Nazca Lines into more than just historical relics. They become symbols of possibilities yet to be understood, sparking curiosity and debate. Documentaries and documentaries-turned-adventure specials have also cemented the Nazca Lines as cultural touchstones. Programs like National Geographic and the History Channel's feature-length explorations of these geoglyphs bring together the work of archaeologists, historians, and even skeptics to discuss potential meanings and methods of creation. These documentaries balance the Nazca's engineering genius with the more mystical interpretations that have captured public attention. By doing so, they contribute to a dual narrative, one where the lines are both a testament to ancient human ingenuity and a potential connection to forces or ideas beyond conventional explanation. Programs like these often use stunning aerial footage to show the lines' true scale and beauty, helping audiences understand why they inspire such global fascination. The Nazca Lines have also made their way into mainstream entertainment, appearing in blockbuster films, thrillers, and even fantasy novels. In Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull for example, the lines are included as a stepping stone in the film's adventurous journey, portrayed as a mysterious site tied to ancient knowledge and extraterrestrial secrets. Similarly, countless novels and video games, such as the popular Uncharted series, use the Nazca Lines as key settings for unraveling ancient conspiracies or unlocking lost treasures. These fictionalized versions build on the line's visual and narrative appeal, weaving them into plots that emphasize their otherworldly allure and their potential as gateways to hidden truths. But it's not just fiction that has shaped how we view the Nazca Lines. They've also appeared in art, advertising, and even fashion. Their bold, geometric patterns and recognizable animal shapes make them an aesthetic draw, used in modern design to evoke themes of mystery, connection, and ancient knowledge. In this way, the lines have become more than an archaeological site. They've become cultural symbols that resonate with people across different mediums. These portrayals in popular culture have undoubtedly shaped public perception of the Nazca Lines. For many, their image is tied less to their real history and more to the myths and theories perpetuated by fictional and speculative narratives. This blending of fact and fiction has fueled global fascination with the lines, keeping them relevant as both a historical marvel and a source of mystery in the cultural zeitgeist. While archaeologists work to uncover the true purpose of the lines, the way they've been interpreted and reimagined in popular culture ensures that they remain symbols of humanity's eternal search for meaning, whether it's rooted in the stars, in gods, or in the ingenuity of the ancient world. The Nazca Lines have survived for over 2 millennia, enduring the harsh conditions of the Peruvian desert and standing as silent witnesses to the ingenuity of an ancient civilization. Yet today, these monumental geoglyphs face some of their greatest threats not from the forces of nature, but from the actions of humans and the shifting dynamics of the modern world. Preserving the Nazca Lines is not only a matter of protecting physical artifacts, it's about safeguarding a vital connection to an ancient culture's beliefs, artistry, and understanding of the universe. One of the primary challenges to the preservation of the Nazca Lines is climate change. Historically, the dry and stable climate of the Nazca Desert has been a natural protector of these etchings. The lack of rainfall and wind has kept the exposed soil beneath the lines intact, allowing the designs to remain unmarred for thousands of years. However, recent shifts in weather patterns have begun to change this equilibrium. Unseasonal rains have washed sediment over part of the lines, obscuring their visibility and threatening their structural integrity. If extreme weather events become more frequent, the delicate balance that has preserved these geoglyphs for centuries may be disrupted, accelerating their erosion. Urbanization and infrastructure development pose another significant threat. Expanding cities, agricultural activities, and transportation projects have encroached upon the Nazca Lines, despite their designation as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1994. For instance, the construction of roads and highways near the geoglyphs has caused irreparable damage in some areas, as vehicles inadvertently disturb the delicate surface of the desert. In 2014, the unauthorized activities of a protest group left footprints and tracks across one of the iconic designs, a stark example of how human interference can harm this fragile heritage. Even small-scale activities, such as illegal farming or the passage of stray vehicles, can leave long-lasting scars on the land, erasing parts of the designs that are impossible to restore. Tourism, though essential for raising awareness and funding preservation efforts, also carries risks. While visitors from around the globe come to marvel at the Nazca Lines, increased foot traffic and improper supervision can lead to unintended damage. Balancing accessibility with conservation remains a delicate task, as protecting the lines must always take precedence over allowing public access. Preserving the geoglyphs requires a careful approach that prioritizes education and sustainable tourism practices to minimize harm while fostering appreciation for this extraordinary site. To counter these threats, local authorities, archaeologists, and conservationists have been working tirelessly to protect the Nazca Lines. Modern technology, such as drones and satellite imaging, has been invaluable in monitoring the condition of the geoglyphs and detecting new damage before it becomes too severe. Awareness campaigns and stricter regulations on activities near the lines aim to reduce human impact, while international collaborations bring much-needed expertise and funding to preservation efforts. Yet, protecting the Nazca Lines is not just a matter of physical preservation. It carries a deep symbolic importance as well. These geoglyphs are more than ancient artworks. They are lifelines to a civilization that sought to communicate with the divine, to find meaning in the stars, and to leave its mark on eternity. To lose the lines would be to lose an irreplaceable piece of humanity's shared history, a piece that connects us to the creativity, spirituality, and resilience of a people who lived so long ago. Imagine a world where the Nazca Lines are no longer visible, where these intricate designs have been erased by the forces of time or human negligence. Their disappearance would leave a void not just in the desert, but in our understanding of how ancient cultures viewed their place in the cosmos. Preserving these lines is about more than conserving a historical site. It's about honoring the questions they pose, the mysteries they embody, and the deep connection they represent between humanity and the vastness of existence. This is why prioritizing their preservation is a responsibility shared by all of us. Whether through supporting sustainable tourism, advocating for stricter protections, or simply spreading awareness, every effort counts in ensuring that future generations can gaze upon the Nazca Lines and wonder, just as we do today. The lines are more than marks in the sand. They are a message from the past, reminding us of the power of curiosity, creativity, and the enduring human spirit. Without them, a key piece of the puzzle that connects us to the ancient world would be forever lost. Throughout history, humanity has sought to answer the profound questions of existence. Why are we here? What is our purpose? How do we connect with the forces greater than ourselves, be it gods, nature, or the cosmos? The Nazca Lines are a breathtaking example of this universal quest, etched across the desert in a language of shapes, symbols, and monumental scale. Though their exact meaning remains a mystery, the broader spiritual themes they represent echo the practices and beliefs of ancient civilizations worldwide, reminding us of our shared desire to seek meaning, establish connection, and leave a lasting mark on the world. The Nazca Lines, with their vast geometric patterns and elaborate animal figures, are more than just artistic expressions. They reflect a culture deeply intertwined with its environment and attuned to forces beyond human control. The Nazca people lived in one of the harshest climates on Earth, where survival depended on understanding and respecting the natural world. The lines may have been a way to honor these forces, be they the sun, rain, or stars, and to communicate with the divine entities they believed governed them. Were these geoglyphs offerings to gods in the heavens, asking for blessings of rain and fertility, or were they meant to reflect the harmony they sought to achieve between earth, sky, and themselves? This longing to connect with higher powers or the cosmos is not unique to the Nazca. Across the globe, ancient civilizations created monumental works to bridge the gap between the human and the divine. Take the pyramids of Egypt, for example, colossal structures that served as tombs and spiritual gateways for the pharaohs, helping them ascend to the afterlife and join the gods among the stars. Similarly, the great stone circles of Stonehenge in England align with celestial events, suggesting they may have been used as sacred sites for rituals that honored the changing seasons or celestial deities. The Maya, too, designed their temples with meticulous care, aligning them to astronomical phenomena, believing that the movements of the heavens mirrored the will of their gods. The Nazca Lines fit seamlessly into this pattern of monumental works driven by a desire to communicate with the divine. Their colossal scale and intricate design suggest that creating them was no ordinary task. It was likely a spiritual act in itself. The time, effort, and resources required to construct the lines, especially in a region where survival was already challenging, highlight their significance. For the Nazca people, these geoglyphs may have been more than just symbols. They could have been pathways of devotion, prayers etched into the earth, reaching out to the gods above. This is a theme that resonates deeply with the human experience. Across time and civilizations, there is a shared longing for connection, whether to the heavens, the earth, or something beyond comprehension. The Nazca Lines remind us of this universal drive, a yearning to make sense of the vast unknown and to leave a mark that transcends the boundaries of mortality. They are a testament to humanity's ability to turn its questions and hopes into something tangible, something enduring. But the Nazca Lines also challenge us to reflect on our modern perspectives. In a world dominated by technology, where answers are often just a few clicks away, do we still possess the same sense of wonder that drove the Nazca and others to create such monumental works? The lines invite us to pause and consider what we are striving to connect with today. Is it nature as it was for the Nazca, the cosmos as it was for so many ancient cultures? Or something else entirely? Their enduring mystery speaks to something deeply human, the need to create, to question, and to seek meaning in the vastness of existence. The Nazca Lines are not just a relic of the past, they are a mirror reflecting our shared humanity. A reminder that across time and space, we are all united by the same desire to understand our place in the universe and to leave behind something that speaks to that search. So, as we gaze upon these ancient designs carved into the desert floor, we are not just looking at the work of an ancient civilization, we are glimpsing the timeless spirit of humanity itself. The Nazca Lines, with their baffling precision and colossal scale, are more than just a mystery etched into the desert floor. They are a testament to the ingenuity, creativity, and spirituality of an ancient civilization. As we marvel at these geoglyphs today, millennia after their creation, they challenge us to reflect on the achievements of the past and what lessons they might hold for our own time. What do the Nazca Lines teach us about human potential? And how do they remind us of the delicate balance between societies and the environments they depend on? First, the Nazca Lines stand as a profound demonstration of human ingenuity. Created without the benefit of modern tools, advanced surveying equipment, or the ability to view their work from above, the Nazca people managed to craft designs so massive and precise that they can scarcely be appreciated from ground level. Their techniques, simple yet masterful, serve as a reminder of the innovation possible when communities harness their collective knowledge, dedication, and creativity. In our world today, dominated by rapid technological advancements, the Nazca Lines challenge us to remember that progress is not solely defined by tools and machinery. It is also shaped by the drive to solve problems, connect with bigger ideas, and leave something meaningful behind. But the lines don't just showcase ingenuity, they also highlight the Nazca civilization's intrinsic connection to their environment. Living in one of the driest regions on Earth, the Nazca understood the importance of working with the land. Their aqueduct systems, designed to provide water in this unforgiving desert, and their use of the barren plains as a canvas for their art underscore a deep respect for and reliance on the natural world. The lines may even have represented an attempt to secure harmony with the forces of nature, whether they were religious offerings to deities associated with rain and fertility or practical markers for water sources. The geoglyphs reflect an awareness of how fragile life can be in the face of environmental challenges. In our modern era, as we face unprecedented ecological crises, the Nazca Lines remind us of the consequences of living out of balance with our surroundings. The Nazca civilization eventually declined, and environmental factors including overexploitation of resources may have contributed to their downfall. This serves as a cautionary tale for our own time. Are we, like the Nazca, pushing the limits of our environment? And as we innovate to meet the challenges of today, are we doing enough to maintain the balance needed for future generations to thrive? The enduring fascination with the Nazca Lines also stems from the questions they leave unanswered. Their precise purpose remains elusive, inviting us to explore, learn, and interpret. They reinforce the idea that our ancestors were far more sophisticated than we often give them credit, for people capable of achieving great things in ways that remain mysterious even with all of our modern knowledge. As we uncover more about their purpose, we're reminded of how much of history remains hidden, waiting to be uncovered. It sparks a sense of curiosity, urging us to ask not just what stories the past holds, but what lessons we are leaving for the future. What will future generations uncover about us? Will they be as fascinated by our achievements as we are by the Nazca Lines? Or will they look back at our era and struggle to understand the choices we made? Perhaps they will wonder how we treated our planet, how we navigated the challenges of technology, and what we prioritized as a society. Just as the Nazca Lines serve as a bridge between the ancient world and our present day, what will we leave behind to tell our story? Will it be monuments of innovation, symbols of environmental stewardship, or warnings of missed opportunities? The Nazca Lines remind us that to create something enduring requires vision, cooperation, and respect for the world around us. They call us to marvel at human potential while reflecting on the delicate balance needed to sustain life on Earth. As we continue to uncover their secrets, their lessons remain as relevant as ever, challenging us to think not just about the mystery of the past, but about the legacy we are building for the future. The Nazca Lines remain one of the greatest enigmas of the ancient world, their purpose and meaning still shrouded in mystery. Throughout this journey, we've explored a variety of compelling theories. Were they created as offerings to the gods, massive symbols meant to connect the Nazca people with divine forces in the heavens? The intricate animal figures and geometric patterns may reflect a sacred dialogue between humanity and the spiritual realm, asking for blessings of rain, fertility, and prosperity in an unforgiving desert landscape. Or perhaps the lines were practical tools, serving as a kind of earthly calendar or map, guiding the Nazca to precious water sources or marking celestial events critical for their survival. This blend of the practical and the spiritual highlights the extraordinary ingenuity of a civilization, deeply attuned to both their natural environment and their place within it. And then, of course, there's the idea that the lines were an expression of pure artistry and human creativity, a testament to the Nazca people's determination to leave their mark on the world. Maybe the act of creating these massive designs was, in itself, the purpose and enduring legacy meant to demonstrate their connection to the land and the cosmos. Or perhaps the most fantastical of theories holds some truth, that the lines were intended to communicate with or even guide beings from beyond our world. While no concrete evidence supports this idea, it speaks to the imaginative power of these geoglyphs and the sense of wonder they inspire in all of us. Ultimately, the true purpose of the Nazca Lines may never be fully understood, and perhaps that's what makes them so captivating. They remind us of the universal human desire to connect with something greater, to leave a mark that endures beyond our time. Whether they were meant for gods, for survival, or simply for the joy of creation, the lines challenge us to reflect on how ancient cultures without modern technology were able to achieve feats that continue to mystify and inspire us today. Their significance goes beyond the Nazca civilization. The lines spark questions about how we view our place in the universe and how we choose to express our aspirations, both as individuals and as a society. They encourage us to imagine what future generations will think of the marks we leave behind, what our accomplishments, beliefs, and creations will say about us. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Were the Nazca Lines a message to the gods, a practical tool for survival, or a lasting work of artistic brilliance? Or do you believe they were something else entirely? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective on one of history's most tantalizing mysteries. And if you enjoyed exploring the secrets of the Nazca Lines, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the wonders of history and the unsolved puzzles that connect us to the past. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in the next adventure.